Okay, we are continuing with Siman Pei today in Yoreh Deah. Just, I forget which one of you pointed it out very well. The Chassam Sofer who also points it out that we learned if you want to recognize the animal to know if it's kosher, what do you do if the mouth is cut off, right? For the identification. So in the Shulchan Aruch, Yoreh Deah Lamed Gimel Beis, so it points out, so if the lechi atachton is missing, that's fine. But if the lechi ha'elyon is missing, so then the Rambam holds it's a treifa, because we need to have the trachea, the windpipe covered up, so that doesn't get too much cold or moisture, so it won't otherwise it won't live a year. But so the Chassam Sofer points out the perhaps difficulty. Again, that's the Rambam that the Shulchan Aruch says it's good to be machmer for. But also yesh l'chalek. Like I said, it could be the front of the mouth and not the whole maxilla. Okay. Then also we mentioned about basar adam, human flesh. So it's just interesting. What happens if a person bites his nails or a little tissue tag on his finger? Can you swallow it? So as far as I know, there's no issue with with hair and nails, but the skin happens to be a bit of a machlokas. If you look in the Kaf HaChaim, it seems to say that it's mutter. Some quote a Rashba who's machalik perhaps this way or that way, but he's talking about hana. So I don't want to, it's not exactly a raya one way or another, but Madanei Shulchan says it's okay if you want to bite off a little piece of your tissue tag and swallow. However, the Ben Ish Chai says it's aser, and there's no clear, it depends who you ask. Among Achronim, there's no 100% clear halacha on that one, if it has the same din or not. Probably yesh al pi lismach, if necessary, and according to some, it's mutter lechatchila. But some point out it's a very bad habit, including the Kaf HaChaim, to bite your nails or your skin during the week, because you might end up doing it inadvertently on Shabbos as well, which is a real problem. Okay, and then they also point out the Kaf HaChaim does quote, it's from a tshuva of I think the Maharash or something, and it's brought down by the Ben Ish Chai and Zivchei Tzedek, that there's a custom, not a good custom, it's a bad custom, they all say it's aser, of women, after a bris milah, the orla, they would grab it and swallow it. So it's much more common in Persian communities. So if you're in a Persian bris milah, you will see some women might want to try and snatch it, and the moel has to be quick to save it and guard it so it doesn't get taken. They think it helps for fertility, or at least to get a boy versus a girl, maybe different things out there. So anyways, they do. The Ben Ish Chai, Zivchei Tzedek, Maxik Bracha, they all seem to say it's aser, but they're all quoting that tshuva that equates it to basar adam. It doesn't discuss or per se, it equates it to basar. Maybe it depends how much and how thick the tissue is. Anyways, just thought that might be of some interest. So let's get to Siman Pei, Din Chaya Tahara. So we want to learn about a Chaya. So we learned about Simanim for a kosher animal, right? Now we want to know, make a distinction. What's a behema and what's a Chaya? Right? It makes a difference for, let's say, the chaylev and the kisoidam, etc. So let's see. Aleph, chaya tahora. So if you have a kosher chaya, chelba mutter, it's fat. The chaylev is mutter. You're allowed to eat it. And then you don't have to worry as much about all the issues of nikur. You still have to worry about there's dam and there's the gira nasha. What do we say? Now I'm blanking on it. Anyways, check back for gira nasha. But regarding the chaylev, it's mutter. Vidama asur, vitaun kisui. And you have to do kisui adam, right? That's by chickens and by achaya. You have to do kisui adam with the bracha, v'chule. V'chachamim natnu simanim mipi hashmua. And Chachamim, in Chazal, and the Gemara, we see they gave simanim how to make a distinction, to know which one it is. B'karnateh, by looking at the antlers, its horns, to know if it's a behema or if it's a chaya. So imhim mufutsalot. If they perush mufutsalot shaharba pitzulin yotzim mehem. So that's Rashi. Rashi says they branch out. It starts out, you get one, well, the horn begins or the antler starts to grow, and then it has branches, like in a tree. So then that's mefutsalot. If it's mefutsal, then you know for sure it's a chaya and not a behema. There's a so among the chayas, some of them they will branch out, and some of them there'll be one horn. But by a behema, there is always only one horn. They don't branch out. Okay, that's one. No. They're not all kosher. But if you know it's kosher, these are if you know they're kosher, because the shoe is cut and has split hooves. So then this is how you know the distinction. Okay, good point. Okay, so now. Then you know it's a chaya. Doesn't mean it's a tahara. Now that's Rashi's. No, you don't know that it's vadai tahorahi, chaya tahorahi. That's only if the shach points it out. You have to read it through the shach. What? I don't know, but okay. They're trying to decide whether the chaylev is mutter. Exactly. This is just to know if it's a behema or a chaya for the halachos. It still has to chew its cut and has split hooves. Okay. Now that was Rashi. The Rabbeinu Tam explanation on mefutsalot in the Gemara is that it starts out, and I sent some pictures. You can look it up. It starts out the horn straight, and then it makes a big bend and a curve. And that's his definition, which you also only see by a chaya. You don't see that shape by a behema. Okay. So then you know, if you know it chews its cut and has split hooves, then you know this one is a vadai chaya tahora. Okay. Let's go on. V'im enam mefutsalot tzarich shiyu behem shlosha simanim. So if you know it chews its cut and has split hooves, and it's not mefutsalot, we'll call it branched out. So then, or it could be you can use either siman. Okay, then you need to have the following three. If all three are met, then you also know it's a chaya versus a behema. What are these other three simanim? So it's mefutsalot is one siman. That enough by itself is good. If it's not mefutsalot, then you have to have all of the following three. It's kruchot, hadurot, and charukos. What is that? Perush, kruchot is arsiyos gladim kivitzalim. It has layers. Like an onion. The horn itself is made up of layers. That's hadurot. What's that? Agulot velo rachavot. It's completely round and it's not wide. In other words, wide means it can be a little bit of a triangular shape, as opposed to completely circular.
What about a moose?
What?
A moose, or those that have sort of flat antlers.
Yeah, that's flat. Okay. Okay. Charukos sheish behem charitzim sevim tkufim umuvlaim ze bazeh. So they have lots of little ridges, and it almost looks like each section's coming out of the next one. Hu demivlu chirikayo. That's what we just said. V'im chaser echad me'elu. If it doesn't have all one of these three, hashlosha hasimanim chelba aser, then you don't know. So then chelba is aser misafek, unless you know it's a behema. But okay.
So what about a moose?
I don't know. I didn't study each animal. Sorry. Okay, maybe you'll prepare a list for us. Okay, let's go on. Yeah, okay. Bet. So that's okay. Bamed dvarim amorim. What are we talking about? Bemin she'eno makiro. That's if you don't know what it is, right? You go in the field and you see wild animals and you see that it chews its cud and it has split hooves, but you don't know if it's a behemoth or a chaya. Aval shiva mini chaya morim Torah, but in Devarim Yudalid Hey, it lists 7 chayos mefurashos. Okay, I'll just list it for you. Ayal, Tzvi, v'yachmur, v'akol, v'dishon, uta'o, v'zamer. So those are the 7. I'm going to keep to the Shulchan Aruch. I apologize. Kedai to look it up, but it's not 100% clear also which are those 7 animals. So I didn't want to spend half the share on that. But I will touch upon a couple of them. Okay. So imayam makir echad mehem. If you know which one it is, so then you know. Afil lo matzalo kirnayim chel b'mutar. If you know for sure, you have a Masorah, and you know what are those 7, then those 7, even if they don't have any horns, then it's a chaya. Because not all chayas have horns, and not at all stages of its lives. So therefore the chaylev would be mutar, v'damo ta'un kisui. And its blood, when you do the shechita, would need kisui adam and with the bracha. Okay. I think, where did I have it written down? Here, I'm just going to share one interesting one. So the second animal in the parsha is a tzvi. So this is interesting because it's related to what we just learned. So that's why I want to discuss it. We learned that if it has branched antlers, it's going to make it it's going to for sure make it a chaya. And the Gemara on that says a tzvi does not have branched antlers. So therefore, our tzvi that we normally call a deer, when people call modern day Hebrew tzvi or a deer, it does have branched antlers. So therefore, many point out, Rashi was probably the first, or one of them, he says the tzvi that people call a tzvi or a deer nowadays, that is not the tzvi in the Torah. So the Rashi, this is from Chulin and Tet on the Beis, Rashi calls it a steinbok. That's one possibility. Rav Sadia Gaon calls it a gazelle. And both those animals it's not branched. So anyway, so that's, I just discussed one in particular because it's relevant. What? We eat those? You could. Sure. Okay. Again, as long as it chews its cud and has split hooves, I don't think you really need a Masorah.
A moose.
A moose
fits that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And okay, so you're saying a moose
should be a kosher.
Oh, okay. Okay, so very good. What else? Okay, so let's read Gimel. And Shor Habar, mean behemahu. A Shor Habar, what is that? It's a wild, we'll translate it as a wild ox. And the halacha is, it has a din of a behema. Right? This is actually a machlokas in the Mishnah Kilayim. And it's a machlokas Tanakama, I think Rabbi Yossi. And the halacha is, we paskin, it's a behema. But what is it? So it could be what you call the wild ox. It could be what people call a buffalo, and it could be an aurochs, something that's extinct. No, it's different explanations of what it could be on a shor habar in the Gemara, what it's referring to. But basically, so that's the question. So the Shulchan Aruch definitely paskins it's a behema. And that's the halacha for the Sfardim. The Ashkenazim, and the Shach brings it here, the Ramah brings it up in Kisoy Dam, in Koach, I think Dalet. So there, he says it's a suffix. So Lamaisa, nowadays, the buffalo, Rabben David explained to me, now the mud buffalo, that's grown in hot climates. You're going to find that in the Middle East or in Asia, or maybe India, certain in hotter climates. And there, so he says, according to the Shulchan Aruch, that's what we're talking about. And the minhag in Israel, as far as he knows, is the Sfardim treated 100% like a vadai behema. So the chaylev is aser, and they don't do kisoy dam. The Ashkenazim is they treat it as a safek, so the chaylev is aser, but they do kisoy dam without a bracha, or they preferably do it with chickens. At the same time that they're going to do, they shech this, they make sure to bring to shech the chicken or more, and then they say the bracha on, yeah, exactly, like a koi. Okay, so that's the halacha by a buffalo, and he pointed out that bison is basically is the European and American. It's not Sephardim never had a bison, but it could be that when the Ashkenazim talk about a buffalo, they're referring to a bison. But anyways, for Ashkenazim, they treated basically a buffalo or a bison the same. It's a suffix, and there's no real minhag by Sephardim. But when Rav Machpa did a shechita of a bison in Canada, he did like the minhag of the Ashkenazim and treated it as a suffix. So it makes a difference also for chaylev and kisui dam, basically. Okay, so that's interesting about Shara Bar. Now Dalit Hakeresh. So this is discussed in the Gemara. Afal pi she'en lo keren ela keren echad. It only has one horn. Hu chaya. It still has a din of the din is it's a chaya. So I don't think we're familiar with unicorns, are we? So some explain it could be referring to a tachash, which we're also not so familiar with. Some explain it refers to a giraffe, which could also be the seventh of the chayas that are listed in the pasuk, the zemer. That could be also, I think, zebra or no, I forget. There's a name. I think in I don't know which language, but it starts with the zayin. How to say giraffe? But anyways, the same. Anyways, some say that the last of the seven is a giraffe, and some say that's what a keresh is.
It has a bump on the head.
So numerous places discuss these animals. Of course, you can look it up. Sichas Chulin is one of them. They point out, the Maram Shif points out that a giraffe, now it's true, its its two main horns are on the top of its head, and there's always two of them. But there are certain types of giraffes that you will have only one horn on its forehead, like in addition to those two. So it could be that this is referring to the giraffe, which has only one horn in the middle of its forehead. Another pshat it could be is there is a deer that starts out as one horn and then it splits into two. So it primarily looks like two, but the base is actually only one. Anyways, different possibilities. It cannot be a rhinoceros because a rhinoceros is not kosher for the other reasons. Okay, I think let's go to hay. Okay. Right. Oh, I just wanted to say the machlokas in the Mishnah is when they talk about Shara Bar, it's talking about the same animal. It's not a machlokas in what animal they're talking about, but it's Rav Adia Mibartanur explains. The question is it ikro dar b'midbar or b'yishuv? Like originally, where is its normal habitat? Did it start in the wild or did it start in yishuv? And that would that's basically a machlokas in Metzias though. But and then so there's anyways. Let's go to hay. Kol she'istapek lacha imhu min chaya or min behema. Whenever you have a suffix and you don't know if it's a chaya or behema, chel bo aser, the halacha is clear. You have to treat it as suffix deraisa. You have to treat it as chaylev that it's aser. Ve'ein lokin alav, but you don't get malchus on it because it's a suffix. It might be mutter. You don't get malchus on a suffix, but you do kisui hadam without a bracha, unless you say a bracha on a chicken or something else that's is chayav. Right? Or mechasin edamo. Okay. Do you want to say something? Yeah. Here, let's read Vav first. Kilayim haba mi behema tahara im chaya tahara hu anikra koi. Okay, so what is a koi? We had this before. So here the Shulchan Aruch says his opinion that it's kilayim. Koi is a kilayim by definition of a behema and a chaya. The Rambam holds it's a bria b'fnei atzma, which the Shulchan Aruch is not going with. But either way, right? So chelbo is aser. Ve'ein lokin alav u'mechasin edamo, and it's not loka because you're not sure what the status is, and you do, but right. So it has a din of a somewhat of a suffix, and therefore the chaylev is aser. Vein looking love umechasin et damo. Anyways, just as a side, you can look into it if you're interested. Madane Shulchan discusses it, and he says, according to the Rambam, it would be actually chayav lokin alav. And if, even according to the Shulchan Aruch, he holds, if the mother, if you know which one it is, the chaya and the behema, if you know that it's for sure the mother is the mother's if the mother is a behema, then you would be, then the chaylev would be chayav, avadai. Anyways, ayin sham, not so relevant. So let's go on to, let's just start. Dini dvarim hayotzin mina chai, siman kaf pei aleph. There you go, siman pei aleph. Thank you. Shekol hayotzin mina tamei tamei. Whatever comes out of it is tamei. Okay. Aleph. Chalav behema v'chaya temeya. Now the milk of a behema v'chaya, that's temeya o treifa, or also a treifa, or the tzira, or any of the juice that comes out of it, right? So the milk, right, from a non-kosher, either because it's a temeya, the species itself, or it's a treifa, and it's not going to be, right? It has a din of a treifa. So that's going to be a, we're going to see it's asurim. The tzira is any of juice that oozes out of the meat. Now, generally, if it's before it's koshered, we assume there's dam mixed in, and if it's after it's koshered, then we call it tzir or a mohal, and then it's not dam for those halachas, but for here it's yotze minatame, and it's obviously a 100% aser. Right? All these are midaraisa. Umeira gleha. And generally speaking, urine is also going to be aser. Kibisara, aser, just like the meat. However, v'yesh mi shematir b'meraglayim. Some say that there is an opinion that says meraglayim is mutter. Aval meraglayim the adam l'divrei hakol mutarim. But if it's urine from a human, so we mentioned that by basar it's a machlokas. But we know by humans the milk, the blood, and the urine is not an issue. It's not aser, at least midin treif. Okay, so machlokas by animals, by urine. Okay, fine. The shach has a little distinction, but we'll leave that. Fine. Let's go to bet, or we'll stop. Stop? Yeah, I read that. Okay, you know what? We'll stop here and we'll continue based tomorrow. Right. Baltashaksu may be an issue. That's it.